Welcome to Business Live. I'm Mark Croskery. In BL tonight, first up, we got GWest Corporation Limited, a management resignation at the company. The company advisory states that Mrs. Angela Porter has resigned from the position of manager administration at GWest Corporation Limited, effective the end of January 31st of this year, to pursue other interests external to GWest Corporation. Now, Fesco Limited, we've been talking about them. A lot of trading happening by directors purchasing or buying up shares in the company. Trading of shares here again, purchasing on the open market 355,000 shares in Fesco on February 14th, 2022. Now, CAC2000 Limited, the year end 2021, that's last year, October 31st, 2021, the audited financial statements out by PwC, and the earnings growing here by 24%, signaling CAC2000 back, a good sign by them. Even though revenue fell some 213 million Jamaican for the period, ended October last year, earnings grew, as we mentioned, 24%. So it's a good look. Revenue hit 1.04 billion Jamaican, down from 1.25 billion Jamaican for the previous year in 2020. But earnings per share, EPS registered, was 31 cents Jamaican versus 25 cents Jamaican. That's the growth we're talking about. Now, the net profit grew. Margin's a bit slim, but the net profit grew 39.8 million versus 32.5 million year over year. Now, overseas markets, big time brand name, traditional brand name, very popular, well-known. Macy's, the retailer, went through some hard times before the pandemic and the pandemic, but they are back also topping earnings estimates and revenue estimates. They reported here the fiscal fourth quarter numbers, and sales outperformed expectations. Macy's comes out and says, their CEO, their team, they're planning to accelerate the turnaround plans based on this, and they provided a strong outlook for the company overall. They also state at Macy's that they don't plan to split or spin off their e-commerce unit anymore, or the operations from their stores anymore, which is what a lot of activist investors were pushing for. Now, by the numbers, the net income for the 3-month period actually was huge, 742 million US versus 160 million US. It just tells you what's happening, also in the US economy as the US economy comes back from COVID. That's versus the previous year, the comparative period. Now, the revenue grew by not as much, but still a good number. 8.67 billion US versus 6.78 billion US dollars, but the net profit, that's a turnaround story. Also in overseas markets, the Dow Jones Industrial Average really falling through, piercing 34,000 points. Now, you would recall this was above 35,000 points and raging, but what's driving this? It's not just a big oil price, but it's a Russia-Ukraine tensions, all that's happening there. The futures early this morning just fell right below 34,000, dipping below 33,900, and even a bigger drop as the trading day got going. But the big point also, and it's also related to this, additionally, big oil jumping not 91, 92, but closer and higher than 95 US. So these two factors taken into account, creating the whole equity indices, Dow Jones in this case, to go lower below 34,000 points. It should be a rocky roller coaster ride as the week gets moving even more. I'm Mark Croskery. This is Business Live.